Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. Today's video is going to be on the IS3 Auto, and it's basically a review of the tank itself, whether it's worth buying it or not. Some of you may remember when I reviewed the T54 Mod 1 a little while ago. Enjoyed that tank quite a bit, so I'm going to do it for the IS3 Auto as well. Many of you guys are wondering whether it's worth the money, and since Wargaming gave me one to play, I've played it quite a bit. They actually gave me quite a few premium tanks, and even before this they gave me other premium tanks in a different batch. Needless to say, there are a lot of premiums in this game, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, most of them are not worth the money, and that's really quite sad. I think a lot of them are really underwhelming, especially compared to that Tier 8 Elite Compatriots. And some of you may say, well, if they're, so strong, that's pay to win. I am not saying that they should be stronger. I'm just saying that they should be on par. You're spending a lot of money. It should just be a normal tier 8. It shouldn't be weaker, as many of them feel to be. So yeah, the IS3 Auto is not an autoloader, despite the name. Serber's just trying to trick you. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's something to do with like automatic transmission or something. You can ask Jingles. I'm sure he will tell you. So I'm just going to talk about how the tank plays, because that's what I'm good at. I'm not good at, going through stats and talking about the tank and all that stuff in that way. I specialize in how the tank plays, which ultimately is really important, because you don't care what the stats are on paper. What matters is how the tank performs in game, and ultimately, is it fun to play? Is it going to earn you credits, which is what you're looking for in a premium tank. If the tank isn't playable but is decent at making credits, you're not going to play it, and therefore it's not going to make you any credits. But if it is fun and it does make credits, we're in business. So the IS3 Auto is a new premium, and as a new premium, it doesn't have preferential matchmaking. Wargaming have basically scrapped the idea of preferential matchmaking for the foreseeable future. And they've stayed true to that. We basically have a ton of new premiums, and none of them are preferential as far as I'm aware. Now, some of you know me and know that I hate playing premium tanks. So when it comes to a premium, it better be really impressive, or I just won't play it. In fact, I would rather play my T110E5 and make credits while still firing heat to trigger puppies than to play a Tier 8 premium. A lot of people love Tier 8 premiums. I'm just not one of those people. Now, as I said, this tank doesn't have preferential matchmaking, which means it has to be pretty good to function effectively as a premium. Now, there are lots of tanks to compare this to. We have the IS6, which is a Tier 8 premium, the IS3, which is the Tier 8 Elite, and then we have the IS5, which is the Clan War Reward premium. Now, obviously, you cannot get the IS5, so we can scrap that as a, something you could get, but it is a comparable tank. Now, I don't like the IS5, even though it was, given as a Clan War Reward. I really don't enjoy the tank. Now, interestingly, the IS5 and the IS3 Auto share the exact same gun. It doesn't have, well, I guess if it had the gun from the IS3, we'd be talking about an even better tank. But it does have the IS5's gun. Now, I don't like the IS5, but it's not a great deal to do with the gun so much, although the gun feels better on the IS3 Auto. It probably is my imagination more than anything else. They have the exact same stats. But, I don't like the IS5 because I don't feel like the tank plays well for me. I don't like the armor layout or anything like that. Now with the IS3 Auto, and I'll show you pictures to compare, it's basically the exact same hull on the IS3, which is very good, because when the IS3 was updated, it became quite powerful in its armor, the HD model. It bounces shells it never bounced before on its front pike. Now the front pike is not reliable in most situations. You can't angle a pike. If you do, it's pennable, whereas IS3 is like bouncing all sorts of things it should never bounce. Now, when you're dealing with the IS6 doesn't have a pike, so it's a different front plate. But that's, it's good for bouncing some Tier 7s and things like that, but it really doesn't stack up when you start dealing with Tier 8 guns. The IS3 does do quite well. So it does have that plus. But mostly what you're going to focus here is not on the front plate, which is good, but you're going to focus on the turret. Now the turret is exactly the same stats as the IS3s. Now it's a different looking turret. You can see the shapes are different, but the stats themselves are exactly the same. The IS3 might have better sloping. It looks like it does, but I can't confirm that. You guys can compare that if you want. But it does work the same way. The turret is also vulnerable to being overmatched, just like the IS3, but it's not really something that most people will do. And if you play well, it can be a difficult thing for an enemy to do to you if they even know that that's a weak point in the first place. So in terms of playing the IS3, it's actually a lot of fun. And what I've been looking for the longest time, I mean the IS3 is my favorite tier 8 tank, but what I've been looking for the longest time is just a tier 8 premium that plays like a tier 8 elite tank, and I can just play it and have fun and forget that it's a premium and make a ton of credits. And this is what this tank feels like. So it was really exciting for me because this is the first time I played a tank and it doesn't feel like it's some gimped premium. So in terms of that, it's awesome. It's a little bit slower than the IS3, but its gun reloads faster, and it does have heat as a different option, and now heat behaves differently to AP, so it does open up different options for things you might normally not be able to pen. But honestly, most of the time I feel I don't need it. The pen is relatively similar to the IS3. It's not 170 whatever like the IS6 is. It's 220 plus, which is a godsend, especially because it doesn't have preferential, but really you're not going to notice a lack of preferential matchmaker that much. So in tier 10s, not great, but most tier 8s are not. Wargaming have said that they're going to try and fix the matchmakers, so tier 8 see tier 10 less. I hope that's true, and that will certainly help this tank. But in terms of credit earning capacity, it's great. Imagine like having the T-34 almost. You know, the T-34 theoretically does make good credits, but it's slow, sees tier 10 almost all the time. Its gun aims really poorly, but it does have a good, powerful gun. That's like the IS-3, but you've got a way better gun platform, and it just works so much better. So yeah, that's pretty much it, what I got to say about the tank in terms of how it performs in game. It's fun to play, it's pretty powerful, it's a little bit weaker than the IS-3, but considering how strong the IS-3 is, the IS-3 auto is doing quite well for itself. So if you're going to get a premium tank this Xmas and you want to spend this kind of money, it is more expensive than some other premiums. This is worth your money. If you're going to splash out on a premium, you're going to spend money, get this one. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best thing on the market for its price. In the lower bracket, I would definitely still recommend the Super Pershing. It's got preferential matchmaker. Preferential matchmaker. It's still really powerful. But you know, in this end, I would definitely go IS3 auto. FCM is still a good choice for those of you that are pretty good at the game, because you know the gun doesn't really require, because it's not 170 pen, it's much higher, but it does have preferential. It's just more difficult to play because it's a big target, and has a low alpha gun. Generally, the higher the alpha, the easier the tank is to play. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Let me know in the comments if you're going to get the tank, if you're not going to get the tank, or just simply undecided. Personally, it's expensive, so you know, if you're going to go for it, you know, just keep in mind what your options are, and if you think that you want to spend this kind of money, definitely get this over, say, an IS6 or low, or a T-34 or anything like that. It's certainly, in that kind of tier, it's your best option. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful, guys, and I will catch you all on the next video.